Okay, so here we have the new Consew Premier model P1541S-CC. This machine is a walk-and foot machine or a triple feed. So it has a needle feed, it has a drop feed, it has alternating pressure feed by the center foot. So let's explain how that works. So here, if you watch the feed dog, as I turn the hand wheel, you'll see the feed dog comes up and then it drops and it comes back to the beginning and then it feeds again and then it drops. So you have feed from the bottom, that's called drop feed. And if we watch the needle itself, the needle goes down and it follows the path of the feed dog and feeds with the feed dog, and that's called needle feed. So we have drop feed, needle feed. Now we're going to set the pressure feet down, and we watch the center foot. The center foot's going to come down and it's going to lift the rear foot and it's going to travel with the needle and with the feed dog, and there's your triple feed. So that's called alternating pressure feed, with the center toe feeding along with the needle feed and the drop feed. Now this machine is designed for medium to heavy sewing. The thread that we use from this machine ranges from, let's say, a size Tex 46 up to a 207, and you can go even up to a 277 with some modification. The most commonly used thread is this Tex 70. This is an upholstery thread. This is what we're going to be testing today. So before we get started, we already have the machine threaded, and I think it's important to know that if the machine's not threaded properly, it just won't sew at all. So we're going to start with the bobbin, and over on the hand wheel there's a little dimple that is another dimple that lines up with one another. And when those dimples are lined up, then it allows for the bobbin case to be easily removed. So I'm going to reach underneath, and actually I'm going to pull the quick release off here for the knee lift. I'm going to turn this back for a moment, and we're going to take a look at the bobbin when this is lined up. So what you do is you stick your thumb here, grab the latch, and we're going to pull this straight out, and there is your bobbin. Now to adjust your tension on your bobbin, we have a tension spring right here, and we have adjustment to that tension spring right here. This is the screw that holds the tension spring on. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the bobbin in. There's one way the bobbin goes in. So if you notice how this has got a cross grain to it, we're going to come cross grain against that, and we're going to thread the machine up here, back through here, underneath the tension spring, and we want a medium pull, medium to heavy pull actually, not too heavy, not too light, a little bit of medium. So good pull, good steady pull here on this. It's hard to judge or tell someone how to do this, but I think you'll get a feel for it. It's not a home machine, so you know a little more pull than that. Now we're going to take this and lift the bobbin case latch up. I'm going to put my thumb under here for a reason. I'm going to bring this thread around. I'm going to hold it right here in between here, my forefinger and my thumb. Now by doing so, if we look right here, I'm going to center this post on the bobbin case on the hook, and this is going to come in. My thumb's going to touch, close it up, and it's all in. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this back down and get it settled in. We got your quick release. We'll put our quick release back in here, which is your pressure foot arm. It just pops right in just like that. So now your top thread, I've already got it threaded up, but I think it's important that we go ahead and start from the beginning. So let's do that. Let's make sure that your thread stand is set far enough down that everything is lined up perfectly underneath it. And we got a little fan going here, that's good. So we're going to thread thread your top thread here, and so we'll go down through here. I like to make a little S like that through it. And the reason is that if you look, there's a little body left on the thread. This thread keeps the memory of the spool, and by S-shaping it through there, it helps take some of that memory out, straightens the thread out, so it's in a better position to make a stitch. We're going to go to the next one here. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to snake it around here, make a little S, and again, that's going to help take some of that body out by adding a little bit of tension to it. Now we're going to go straight through. I'm going to leave my presser foot down. I'm going to go straight through the tension here like this, pull it in. I'm going to come around underneath here, and I'm going to pull it up through the check spring on the bottom here like this, up to the check spring until it pops right past that little finger. And again, these guides here, we're going to just kind of slip it through these guides. Some are a little easier than others. You can thread it through or pop it through. And we'll go through our take-up lever just like this, from left to right. And we'll go through these lower guides. Here, here. And we're going to go underneath this little light tension spring. And this is another little neat gadget that helps take some of that slack out as the take-up lever is moving it up and down. So now we're going to go through this lower guide here, and we're going to go through the needle bar thread guide, and we're going to thread from left to right through the needle, just like so. So now we've got the top and we got the bottom set. Now, once we have the bobbin tension set, we'll need to adjust the top tension. We're not going to know that until we sew on. So we're going to start off with just a simple layer. Now, typically I like to tell people to hold your top thread when you start. And what you can do is basically just turn the hand wheel. You can bring your bobbin thread up like so. And now you've got your bobbin thread. It's on the top side. And when you start sewing, you're good to go. That way you don't have any real problems or issues from the beginning by holding your top thread. You can also take your top thread and go through the presser foot and allow the outside foot to hold it, and then you don't have to hold it by hand. So let's just sew a little bit here at a slow speed. Let's take a look at what we have. Looks pretty good. We've got a little bit of bottom thread coming up, but we're only sewing through one layer. Okay, and so typically I would loosen that up for this particular one layer. And let's see what happens with two layers. I'll go with the two layers here. If you notice, now my top thread's up. It's now held by the back of the presser foot back here, and I don't have to hold it to start off. Let's look at this. You can see on the bottom, now we can see a little bit of black there, but that's starting to look better, so I'm going to loosen that just a little bit because I'm pulling it up. So this is a medium grade vinyl. And we start off with a single layer that's pretty lightweight. You can go actually lighter than that. And now we're at two layers. We're going to double up. We'll go from 2 to 4 to 6. And we're just going to walk right over the top of that, just like it's not even there. Even over these thick seams already, we're sewing over reverse. Let's get a little bit bolder here. Let's go ahead and double up a couple more pieces. So we're 2, 4, 6. Now we're at 8 layers over top of seams. that's a pretty good thickness there. We're going to just go one more layer here, so we're making sure we're understanding what the machine can do. And I'm not even slowing down. So if you're looking at the thickness, if you need something to sew this thick, the Premier P1541S is the machine for you. We're already at 16 layers here, and just want to show you a little runtime on the machine. No skips, no breaks, perfect sewn, even through about 15 layers of material. So the P1541S-CC, we're going to be talking about some of the nice features of the machine. Some of the more obvious features is it has a built-in bobbin winder here with an automatic release. It has a super large hand wheel, which gives you the ability to drive through pieces. We've also incorporated a climbing device here that allows us to change the step of the presser feet by turning the knob without having to reach for a wrench. We have a stitch regulator with a push button locking device. We have a reverse. It's located here. There's a side load bobbin, so we want to turn the hand wheel here until we line up to these two dots, and we're going to pull the bobbin out one more time. Show you what the bobbin is. This uses a pre-wound bobbin size M, which is a large bobbin, and it's side loads. So now that I've taken it out and I want to put it back in, it's easy to pop it in. If you notice, I didn't have to remove my material, and I never missed a stitch. Has a unique feature, a release on your tension, so you can either do this by the back here by hand, you can lift it, or you can lift it by your foot. But if you watch, it releases our top tension. So our top tension becomes loose and allows us to bring the hand wheel up, lining everything up to remove it, lift my presser foot, and it automatically releases my tension. So if you didn't have that, you would be struggling. This machine has a quick release right here. It allows us to quickly release our knee lifter. It has a spring that holds it together. I'm going to tilt the machine back now. I'm going to take a look at, this is a belt drive machine. It has the barrel size safety clutch with a reset button on top, so we can reset, and that allows the machine to break a needle or have something to stop the hook from turning while the rest of the machine can still be turning. So it's a great feature to save your parts. The presser foot on this machine is put release back on. Quick release just pops right in there like that. Presser foot has a really high presser foot clearance of about 5/8 of an inch or 16 millimeters. Has a standard workspace here of about 10.5 inches, which is standard to our machines. We have a hinged, have a locking screw here, but we can take this screw out for your faceplate. So quick access with a hinge actuated here, so you can get to any oil spot that you may need. So we just hinge that back and hold it in with a locking screw. The speed of the machine depending on the material and what you're sewing, thread-wise, is around 2,800 RPMs. Has a lower thread guide with tension, so that here we have a lower thread guide with a tension on it. Also helps take some of the body out of the thread. And we have an adjustable take-up. This is a loop, so when you start having some loops on your thread, we can actually raise and lower this guide here, and it helps to eliminate the looping that you have with hook timing. That's all.